city. Seize the surface. Bleed the crown, Locust.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Skull and Bones 212 here, and in today's Gears of War E-Day video, we're going to be discussing Vraahk. Krav, Vrock. Now, for those who don't know, Krav in the Locust army is the rank for captain. Captain Vrock is a member of the Locust Horde on Emergence Day, and he is partaking in the utter destruction of Kelowna, leading his blight of Locust called the Scorched Legion, who, now that we know and after seeing the trailers, specialize in desecrating and marking their victims in emulsion and watching them burn. Before, the theory I had was that they would specialize in fire, and although that may be true, and we might not be able to see the full extent of his special blight in action until release, what we can tell from right now is the sole fact that this guy is heavily obsessed with emulsion. So much so to the fact that I'm pretty sure his scars, his arm, his face, half the face that he's missing, is probably due to some incident from the Lambent pandemic / Lambent war that was going on in the Hollows before E-Day, and he got brutally injured by a Lambent explosion and has just been obsessed with that ever since, probably making it seem like a sort of trial that you must go through to be accepted into the Scorched Legion. Now, the one thing that I want to take away from Vrock is the fact that he is not like any sort of genetic variation or deviant like some of the bigwigs in the Locust army are. They usually look different from other strains of the Locust species that we've seen so far. He seems to just be a really, really tall drone that has some sort of gladiatorial vibe with him, that he loves the fight. He seems to be the center of attention, rallying his troops. One thing that I notice is that his cannon or arm piece that he has kind of launches these spikes that we see a lot of the Scorched Legion have in their arms that we've seen in multiplayer already. So it seems that they practice some sort of self-mutilation as a trial or rite of passage to be in this group. And it seems like they glorify that along with being burned or burning your victims with emulsion so that they can be cleansed in a sense. For whatever the reason that may be, we may get an explanation of that later on. But he seems to have this arm cannon that fires the spikes, and that may be his primary, form of attack as of right now. He might be, very physical in the game. He might also fight us, but he might also be shooting these projectiles to cover distance that he can't get to. So it's really cool to see that this isn't some kind of like super special case where he's exclusively made to look different because he's got to be a boss and bosses have to look different than everybody else. The only thing that's different about him is probably his, scorched flesh and the helmet and the garbs that he's wearing, along with his choice of weapon. But other than that, he looks like a regular drone. Probably I'd say the eyes also are different. Again, it could just be a genetic variation. And a lot of misinformation that I'm seeing over on other platforms is the fact that Vrock is like some general. He's not a general. He can't be a general because at the time of Emergence Day, Vrock and General Rom are currently fighting for that title alongside Scourge in Jannermont. Just before Emergence Day, Queen Mira demoted Vrock and made him a Vold and actually promoted General Rom to Uzil to lead the invasion on the surface world because she saw that Vrock's method of attack was failing in the Hollows and it was just flawed. They were losing the war, and she knew that General Rom's way was kind of the only way to ensure survival for the entirety of the Locust Horde. So Vrock cannot be the general at this time because the new Supreme General had just been announced not even a couple hours before this game is taking place. So I do believe we will hear mentions of Rom and Vrock and many of the other bigwigs, but Vrock is nowhere near that upper echelon of high rank. He actually is around the same rank as Viril Jermad. But for Emergence Day, Jermad is actually promoted to Krav, and him and Vrock technically should be captains at the same time. So hopefully we hear a mention of Jermad at some point during the campaign. That's all we have on Vrock and his significant importance in this game. Now, we do see that the two cog gears he tries to kill, he kills one off screen, but it looks like he has a knife stab in his arm, and I kind of show you guys that. That knife stab that's in his arm is probably from the gear that we saw killed off screen. And every main antagonist has had their own way of introducing themselves. General Rom was the neck snap in the killing of Min Young Kim. Scourge was literally cutting a tank in half. Ukon was his, regeneration after getting shot and getting his jaw blown off and just coming back and snapping the neck of a gear.
What? Who?
The one who took my mom.
She is where she belongs.
Kate, don't listen to it.
Tell me where my mother is!
The path to your mother lies through me.
We gotta isolate him.
No, we don't.
Wait!
Useless human filth. Summon the beast. Crush them!
Choppers, Lieutenant. They're taking Delta to EVA. Immediately!
But Vrock's method of introduction seems to be taking a bucket full of emulsion and dumping it on somebody's face and either scarring them permanently or just completely disintegrating them. So Vrock has to live up to the hype that he's kind of building up now. He's been an enigma and kind of like this hidden thing for a while now. Now, me personally, I've known about Vrock, but I didn't want to spoil myself. I didn't want to spoil what he looks like and what he does in the game. So although I saw images and I saw some screenshots of him, I wanted to really see him in action and see how he spoke. I know we got a glimpse of his voice in multiplayer, but I actually wanted to just see it in person for the first time with everybody else at the Gamescom trailer. And they did an amazing job. I haven't felt this way about an Antagonist or just about a Gears game in general. With the tone that they set in this trailer, like it genuinely feels like the Gears are losing. We're fighting for something to stay alive. Like Vrock is making it very, very, very known and enforcing the whole fact that like the humans right now, they're in a position where they have to fight. And if you don't fight, you're going to die. And I love that sense of urgency so much. They've done such a good job with this game. I can't stress that enough. So the other thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Vrock is keeping trophies. He's seemingly collecting the cog tags of every soldier he's killed so far, and he keeps it wrapped around his gauntlet. This is the first time we've really seen a Locust collect trophies, so it's probably encouraged by the Scorched Legion to collect trophies of the soldiers that you kill. Like, it's just very tribalistic. We've never seen the Locust act in this sort of way. We know that they're very savage, but we don't really see much of like trophy collection until Gears of War 3, when the Locust becomes savage Locusts and they start taking the skulls of the people and the things that they've killed. So this is actually refreshing to see that they're kind of speeding up how the culture changes in a way and keeping it in line with how they act, because at the end of the day, the Locusts were like killing humans and eating them and feeding them to hollow creatures too. So, you know, they don't really have any regard or respect for human life. They quite literally treat them as playthings. But that's pretty much all we've got regarding Vrock. I just wanted to make this video kind of, you know, breaking down what we saw in the trailer, clearing up some confusion. A lot of people seem to not understand that, again, this isn't a general. This is literally a captain of the Locust army. So I'm curious to see if we'll even get a you know, prelude as to how he got promoted to captain, because he had to have been a sergeant, like Jermad, like a Vrl, and then what did he do and earn to get that rank up, and who ranked him up, because only generals can give that rank, and high commanding officers can really give you that promotion. So I'm really excited to see where they take it, who they give these ranks to, who are the other bigwigs, because I know it's not just this guy. I know it's not just Vrock. There are other Locusts we haven't seen that are high ranking. Who knows, you know? And discussing the variations in the Locust, you know, we know that drones look different from Grenadiers, and Grenadiers look different from Therons, and Therons look different from Cantus. And, you know, I'm excited to see how many other subspecies there are in this new soft reboot that the Coalition is pushing forward. And I love that so much. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is your boy Bones. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.